Hey, how's it going, everybody? Back again after a couple of weeks. Been busy around here. Actually, everybody's been under the weather around here. Had this crazy cold / I don't know what. But I'm back. Doing all right. How are you all feeling? Hanging in there, getting into the spring of things. We're well into spring, getting into summer now. My kids are winding down the end of their school year, thinking about what's going on at 343 Labs over the summer, traveling maybe, and yeah, making music. Who was in the chat first today? Stereo Decor, what's up? Ruffles, hi Ruffles. And I don't know who this is, it's a bunch of stars. Hey, you got a creepy icon, man. What's up, Metaphase? Time for some action? Yes, hope so. Hey, Josh Holiday. Happy Techno Saturdays, boys and girls. Luminous Cloud is here. You can tell my voice is a little bit not what it usually is, right? It's a little lower and growlier today. What's up, Luminous Cloud? Yo, UK to Electro. Funk Doors here. Abdul Jabbar. Talking about Suno. All that AI generation. Yeah, AI is getting better. Crazy. Mikey Mayhem, what's up? Surflow Sama. Thanks for the kind words. Yes, I'm showing up again and again. I've been doing it for years. A little less often than I used to, but still showing up. Hey, Acid Bat, what's up? And Mundulator. Yeah, nice crew to get started with today. And yeah, let's get into it. Make some techno. Still making techno today. Welcome, everybody. Selway's Techno Saturdays again here at 343 Labs Music Production School in New York City. Why am I doing that? I'm leaning into the camera. Hey. My voice is extra low today. Yeah, I've been a little bit sick and a little under the weather and congested, and you can hear it, right? I'm still recovering, but feeling a little better today, well enough to sit here and talk at you guys and make beats. So thanks for hanging out. And as always, you know, if you want to find out more about what we do here at 343 Labs, there's all the links down there that you can click on to see what we've got going on, our one-year program, we've got our summer intensives and our summer camps here in New York. If you're here in the area and you've got a high school kid or a middle school kid that's interested in getting into music production, yeah, we do that too. So yeah, New York City. Local, of course, but I think actually I'm gonna put him on the spot here. My son is in middle school, and he is going to join. I already signed him up. He doesn't have any choice. No, I mean we can talk about it, but yeah, I've signed him up for August when we come back for some traveling. You know, kids need something to do sometimes, right? It's like if you're going to sit around all day, nowadays, my kids just want to sit indoors and play video games. He's playing Minecraft, he's playing Roblox, he's shooting things. Like if you're going to sit in front of a computer all day, you might as well, I don't know, maybe learn how to, he's a music guy too. He plays the violin. I mean, let's expand his horizons a little bit. So yeah, anyway, going off about that. But again, check the links below, see what we've got coming up. We've got events happening here and there, right? We've got in-person events. We've got some guests coming in, which should be interesting. They're doing this Beat Makers Bake Off. What is this all about? And this is another in-person thing, but yeah, the Iron Chef for musicians. I think that's kind of fun. The teams will have an hour to create a beat from scratch using secret ingredients in the form of samples. All right, so it's a challenge. And it should be fun. And, you know, we kind of have our own sort of similar thing that we do with Dane every month. We've got the Chop Shop where there's a set of samples and we have a guest and they come in and they give feedback on the remixes. So that's another thing that's coming up. And, of course, we always do our monthly Ableton, well, almost every month, Ableton user group, hosted by me usually. Occasionally we have guests come in. Sometimes we feature our students and we see what they're working on. So yeah, some of these are online. A lot of them are in person. You can always check it out and see what we've got going on. We had a really great masterclass with Carrie, you know, hardware, electron-based, hardware-based techno performance and sound design masterclass. So I don't think we put that up yet on here, but I think we got to get the sign off from Carrie on posting it, but that'll be available. And if it isn't already. So yeah, that's what's going on. And, you know, I'm still working on this loopy techno jam that I started a couple weeks ago. Before we dive into that, what are y'all talking about? What's happening here in the chat? Hey, Doug. Yeah, Doug Smith. That's a pretty fun summer camp. I hope so, right? And, Christian Smith in July is a something that we were talking about. Why did I say is a something that we were talking about? That was weird. But yeah, Christian and I need to get back on that. We were talking about that. Need to solidify the date and all of the details about that one. I'm going to be traveling. He's traveling. Kind of can be tricky to line that up, but we will. I know I keep promising another feedback session, definitely, right? I just, you know, I want to nail down a guest. There's got to be, you know, I can either, you know, I can pick someone who's been on before, or we can find someone new. Is it going to be electro? Is it going to be techno? Is it going to be both? Oh, actually, you know what could be the next one? Because I was a guest on Funk the Void stream very recently, and we talked about swapping. So I think that's probably going to be, now that I remember, the next time we do a feedback session. We got to nail the date down, But yeah, I want to get Funk the Void in here as a guest, and we'll do a feedback session on my show, right? So look out for that. And Luminous Cloud is suggesting Brian Zent. I haven't been in touch with that guy in many years. Many, many years. You know, it's kind of... I actually met him the first time in Washington, D.C. in the 90s, and I think he used to live in the area. I mean, I'm originally from D.C., Virginia area, and so I think he was in Virginia. But yeah, I remember listening to some of his tracks on a cassette in my car in the 90s, right? And that was way, way back. And then I think that was some of the earliest stuff he did. Like he had stuff on Definitive, and then, of course he had stuff on Tronic and a lot of other labels. So yeah, I mean, if he's still in the game, I should, I got to find out how to get in touch with him. I mean, we'll find him online somewhere, but that's a good suggestion. So, and thanks, Metaphase. Glad you liked the masterclass with Carrie. Want to make sure that's online and accessible for everybody. And Audio Muscle, glad you're able to catch a stream real time. Welcome. Glad to have you. Hopefully you enjoy. And yes, UK Telectro is pointing out Brian Zentz did put some great stuff out on Primate. I think I'm sure I have a few of those in storage. I really need to go back and get through my records. I mean, I've cataloged a lot of them on Discogs, but not all of them, right? I've got a lot of boxes to go through. I don't even remember what I have sometimes. But yeah, like, collecting records since the 80s pretty much it adds up. Slowed down the last few years though, but yeah, I've got a lot of 80s, from like late 80s to like mid to late 2000s. Oh boy. All right. Anyway, enough rambling. And we'll get back into working on this track that I started. And, maybe tweak it a little bit, find some more elements, but I also want to start arranging it. Y'all hear that? Does that sound okay? Any doubling, any weirdness in the audio? You tell me. I don't have my headphones on, and, sometimes I just want to feel it in the air rather than have it be, like, in my head. All right, Stereo Decor Acid Bat sounds good. And not polished yet, a little raw. Like this kick drum is really like kind of a little rough. I'm going to EQ it a little bit. There's no EQ or anything on that. I didn't go too crazy yet on getting into the details of mixing. I'm just kind of going with whatever, right? I want it to be a little bit edgy. But this is the starting groove. Just to remind ourselves where we're at. And I think one of my main elements is this filtered percussion thing. Oh yeah, that's another thing about this. I'm using a lot of old school samples. There were some cold cut samples. What else? I was looking into the future music CD1. This is like a lot of very recognizable old school samples that probably everybody had back then. But I don't know. It's nostalgia. It's fun to pull this stuff out. But I got this thing. Doing a little murky filtered thing in the background there. Some granular effects. Oh yeah, that's right. We layered it, right? We've got the filtered version going into the fragments, doing all that little bubbly stuff. But then there's a clean layer, and then I bring this up. We hear the clean kind of... It's like percussion / melodic element, because it's got that nice harmonic resonance in it. Sometimes I feel like low pass filter on everything as like a techno production thing is so like, oh, it's so easy. It's such a fallback. It's such a crutch, but it always works. I think if I recall correctly, one of my points of this groove was to just do basic, like raw, not too fancy stuff. Okay, the granular layer is a little whatever, but it's just a preset. But yeah, just trying to not overthink it too much and use basic, not too tricky production techniques. And, a low pass filter with some resonance on the right sound is fine. I like it. Although I did realize when I was checking this out, there's a lot of noise, a lot of mud in the low end there. So I think I'm going to clean it up a little bit with a... All right, I'm thinking a little bit about mixing. Just a bit. Okay. We got our... I took the hi-hat from the Amen break just for fun. And that was another thing I was trying to avoid, is not too many typical drum sounds. Like, I'm not using 909s, I'm not using 808s, I'm using kind of raw, rough, dirty, sliced up acoustic maybe sounds instead, which is, you know, Amen, a hat from an Amen break is that. It's got a lot of character, although all by itself, it doesn't sound like an Amen anymore, doesn't it? It's all, you know, just that little chop by itself, you can barely tell where it came from. Oh, yeah, and using a notch filter to create variation in a percussion sound is a good... It works. Okay, we got a faster hi-hat with some flanging on it. We got some kind of rolling sub, but not an actual bass line, just kind of a little, you know, syncopated rolling bass. I like that. And we got this, I was also finding some random old samples on my hard drive, and this is like a Corey Henry organ solo that I just chopped a little loop out of. Let's bring the filter down again on this. I think I like it this most of the time. There's more rhythmic atmosphere in the background, and occasionally bring it up and then bring it away again, bring it away, pull it away again. Okay. I'm feeling it. I like this groove. It's rolling. It's a little fast, but it doesn't feel like it's banging you too hard, right? It's not like big dirty kick drum. Josh Holliday's asking, is there a huge difference between an EQ and a filter? I mean, EQs have filters in them. So they're kind of the same thing with some different control. Different types of filters combined together. You know, they're both essentially doing the same thing, right? They are attenuating or boosting frequencies. So yeah, I mean, okay, there's high-pass filter in an EQ, right? That's the same as a high-pass filter in a filter. It's just... using it in a different way. And I guess something like a shelf is not the same as a filter exactly. But it is attenuating or boosting or attenuating or cutting frequencies above or below a certain cutoff, right? So that's not totally removing them, but it is still, yeah, it's kind of a filter. So yeah, EQs are like combinations of filters that do different things to increase or decrease the level of ranges of frequencies. Okay. All right, so there's that little organ stab thing. And there's also this low tom that comes in every however many bars, just to give it some impact every now and then. I like that. I mean, I could start arranging this as it is. Last time I remember I was trying, one of the last things I did was like, maybe I should add a chord stab. And I have a rhythm that I like, but I need to work on the sound a little bit. Like, too clean. I need to polish that up a little bit. But it has, you know, I was already playing with this sound in a previous incarnation of this groove. I was doing something more like Detroit-y, Rob Hood kind of, you know, whatever. But then that was too busy to go with these more rolling drum loopy things that I'm doing. So I thought one, it's more simple, right? Still a little syncopated, and it's got the velocity controlling the filter. But let's fatten that up a little bit. And put on another oscillator. That's just a sawtooth wave. I'm going to transpose that down. Yes. Easiest harmony trick in the techno book is taking a minor triad and adding a fifth above or below it, and now it sounds like you know what you're doing and playing jazzy chords. I love it. And let's make it unison and stereo. Too much. Oh, I like the noise. It's bright. Yep. Good. Does that work with the groove, though? Yep. I don't want to go too dubby on this, but I want to add some rhythmic spaciness to it. So I don't want it to turn into basic channel all of a sudden, which it's starting to do. Let's filter it so it's just bright. Let's not link them and have different patterns on the left and the right. So it's kind of like making a high frequency percussion part. And we'll have to see. I wonder if like dotted might not be the thing. Let's go to 16th and do a number of 16ths. Ooh, I like that. It's emphasizing the quarter notes a little bit more than the other one was. What happens if we make this dirty? There's a drive in the input. Too much. And I don't want too much feedback because I don't want it to be too spacey. I just want to fill in the space. Do a call and response. Yeah, that works. Little bit of reverb on the delay only. All right, let's see how it sounds with the groove. I like it, but I'm going to shift it a little later. Let's do 6 and 7. Maybe? What if about 7 and 8? No, it's too long now. I like them both, but I like the rhythm of 6 and 5, but it happens too soon. All right, this is totally ridiculous, but I'm gonna... All right, this is gonna require a little finagling. I'm gonna put these in a rack and make it 100% wet and turn the filter off and make that a 16th note with no feedback, and that's gonna push that whole echo over. Is that the same as doing 7 and no, it's not. All right, bear with me. Let's try this. So did this work? All right, so what's happening? The first delay is just shifting the dry signal over a 16th note, and then it's doing a 5 against 6 polymetric panning delay. And I like the rhythm of 5 against 6 better than 6 against 7, but it's just taking that 5 against 6 rhythm and moving it later in time because I felt like it was too early in the groove. This is really nitpicky, but I like it. Yeah, it's making that last echo hit on a quarter note, emphasizing the last beat. Oh no, the first beat of the next bar. I'm into it. More low pass filter. I'm into it. It's like musical, but still energetic. It's not getting too trancy yet. What happens if I make this lower chord brighter? Or it's good up too. I like it low, I like it high. I'll do both in the arrangement. How about that? What happens if I add another note? It's more rolling that way. That's another variation we can do in the arrangement, maybe. Just turning that one note on and off, or that one chord on and off. Thomas says it's messy. Hey, it's not mixed yet. Maybe the delay is too loud. I hear you. Not as messy now, right? Just pulling it back. I would say in the arrangement, I would do that. I would make it more intense and less intense depending on what's going on. You know what? You know what else you're right about in terms of messiness? This. The granular stuff. All that bubbling in the background gets a bit much sometimes. That's a mixing thing. Maybe it has too much low end in it. Yeah, look at that. But that's a problem. I just want this. Was that the wrong... Oh my gosh. That. Yeah. That's going to help it be less messy without all this extra kind of mud in the low mids there. Yeah, there's some mixing to do. And I was thinking about, I kind of like, I wouldn't mind if that, using that, you know, it's kind of musical when it's filtered, but having a little more high frequency on this could be good. Sometimes it's another, we're using old tricks today. This is another old trick. What if I put, oh, we'll do that to it before. Using erosion just to add a little air to it. Yeah. Sure. Sounds like it almost sounds like it belongs there. Little tiny EQ things are going to help with that too. Now, if I were to take, you know, you're just thinking about the overall sort of layers and everything. If I wanted to do more chords and less loops, that's not as busy. Well, it's busy, but it's not as cluttered in terms of layers. There's also the noisiness of the unison. That the chords tab could be bigger or smaller. A lot of different variation I could get out of this. How are we doing? I need to take a breath. I need to take a breath and I need to drink some iced coffee so I can keep my buzz up. I needed this to like get through this hour because I'm, still nursing a cold. Caffeine and decongestant is a... Anyway, yeah, this is Selway Techno Saturday. It's a rainy day here in New York. And I don't know, it's been a couple of weeks since I've been on, and we're continuing to work on this track that I started a little while ago. And I guess for the next half of this hour, I'm going to need to start arranging because I said I was going to. But I think we have enough to play with. There's still room for more stuff. But yeah. Also, of course, 343 TV brought to you by 343 Labs Music Production School in New York City and in Berlin. Hey, you want to go to Berlin? It's not too late. We've got spots in our Berlin summer program. If you've been thinking about going, give us a call. Provide some structure to your crazy techno tourism and party lifestyle. But, what do you do during the day? Well, sleep, eat, and take music production or DJ classes at 343 Labs. Accelerate your dream to techno superstardom. We can help you do that. So, yeah, doing my due diligence. Want to know more about what 343 Labs is all about? Check the links below. See what courses we have coming up. Get more details about our summer programs, our online courses, our one-year program. If you're really wanting to dive in, we can help you do that. And, yeah, come to New York, hang out with me, and we'll make some techno. We have, I do the Making Techno online course, which you can sign up for anytime. It's beginner oriented. I know a lot of you who are already into music production, you're not all that beginner about it, but it'd be fun way to hang out and be more involved and get some more detailed feedback and maybe learn some more new things and but apply them directly to your music. Okay, enough plugs. It's part of my job description. I got to do it. So, what are you all talking about? I haven't been really paying attention to the chat while I've been getting into this groove. Let's see. Oh, Luminous Cloud is pointing out Alexander Kowalski is, and we've talked about that before, and I keep spacing. I would love to have him on as a guest. That's a good one. Keep bugging me. I'll remember. I'll reach out to him. Josh Holiday is saying maybe another remix challenge. I think I would like to. I just need to think of a suitable track that I have parts for. I'm always up for remix challenges, absolutely. So that's definitely good. Doug Smith is saying, ready for arrangement? This? Yeah, I think I could start. It's definitely enough. There's techno tracks that have fewer elements in them, right? There's plenty here to play with. And another guest selections from Luminous Cloud. He's really throwing them out there. Adam X would definitely be good. Definitely. He's got all sorts of stories to tell. And that's kind of an area of techno that I haven't explored as much, the kind of stuff that he does. So that would, that could be good. And, we sort of go back. I've known him since the old days. And actually, when he first started switching over into computer-based music production, I helped him a little bit with getting started with Ableton Live. But this is a long time ago. That was like pre-traversable wormhole era when he was doing, I don't know if you guys know, he had this kind of secret project doing this kind of really dark industrial techno, and he didn't tell anybody it was him. And that was he started that around this, if I recall correctly, he started that around the same time he was switching over to making music with a computer as opposed to just machines. And, hey, some other new names in the chat. Besides, I thought Thomas Steele was a new name, but also, actually, maybe I'm just forgetting, sorry. And then we've got Co-Sinus. Hey, what's up? Glad you're here. And, yeah. Audio Muscle suggests, could you add a compressor to the end of the wet channel and sidechain it to the dry? Is that what you're talking about? Are we talking about the delays? Actually, Live's Echo plugin has a sidechain ducking built in. Let's do that. That's a good idea. And then we're going to... There was one other sort of sound designy thing I was playing with earlier that we might do, but yeah, we need to start shaping this. I need to just commit. I'm ready to commit to the arrangement. Whatever happens, happens. All right. Where were we? With the chords and that sidechaining suggestion, yeah, if you look inside under character, there's a ducking, and that's just going to take whatever the input signal is, and there's a compressor, and it'll duck the delay out of the way of the input signal, of the dry signal. So, play. Yep. You can hear it fading up. It's kind of cool. I like the little whoosh of it fading in. And then actually, if I were to do a bunch of crazy feedback on that, it would duck. Turn it into noise. All right, that's a little aggressive, but we'll just leave it for now, and I'll fix it later if I need to. Oh, a little experiment. What did that just do? Whoa. It's like... I like that. I'm going to do that. That was an happy accident. Did you hear that? So that's just shifting it over a 16th note, but now it's going to repeat it. Nice. Weird. Putting it into ping pong like made it almost disappear. Oh, I love these crazy delay tricks. It's so much fun. Okay, getting distracted again. I feel like I need to work on that sound. I like the feel of the sound, but the polish of it is not there. We'll get to it. We'll do that later. I'm just gonna leave it for now. I told myself I'm not gonna go too crazy on mixy details, but that's one to address later. I like the idea of starting with this groove, with this kind of polymetric loop of this random synth thing that I recorded years ago and never did anything with. I feel like it needs some stereo-ness on it. I put a chorus on it, but it's not quite there. I don't think I want to start with the rolling bass. Anyway, let's just get this shit in there. Let's do this. You know what? Just for sake of time. I was thinking, should I just do the straight up subtractive method? You all know this, right? You just put all your clips in your arrangement view and then you delete them. It's cool, but it also lends itself to like 8-bar, 16-bar, 8-bar, like really straight, like typical arrangement, but it's also the fastest way to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I feel like my brain is getting stuck on the arrangement, and when I get stuck on where do I want to start, I will do this subtractive thing just because it's the fastest. So actually, let's go ahead and put in everything that's our main groove. But maybe without the chord stabs, because that's something I'm going to bring in later. Or I bring it in just like this. we bring it in later. All right, so I've got that. That's the main groove. That's all the main elements. Let's just hit record and get that into the arrangement view quickly. I'm going to let it play as long as my longest clip, at least. Which is that bass low tom stab that comes in every now and then. Yeah, that. Okay. Back to arrange. Let's just drag all that out until we get to... Normally I duplicate, but I want to... Any of the loops that are polymetric, I want to keep them intact. So I'm just going to drag it. And I think 6 minutes is definitely long enough, especially nowadays. Yes, Toilet Q. Hats later. Anyway, and I've done this before a bunch of times. I do it in my classes, and I've done it here on the stream. And this subtractive arranging technique is nothing new, but this guy back in the day, Terakith, you can still find his article on subtractive arranging if you Google, and it has like it's like a whole assignment which I'll give my students, and it makes you think about energy over time. And the exercise is that you decide where you're going to start, decide where you're going to end, and then kind of decide what happens in the middle, just very roughly, and then just get the basic shape of the arrangement. And then you kind of go back and do passes and you get more and more detailed, right? But you start with just the big moves. And, in this case, right, I don't want the hi-hats in the beginning, so I'm going to mute those or deactivate those. And I don't want the bass yet. And I don't even know if I want those. Well, do I even want this thing? I might want to fade that in or filter it in or something. So you're just really deciding where you're going to start. Maybe I'm going to wait on that. Real simple. And actually, I'm going to start with this loop in because I'm going to smoothly bring it in. I'm going to do automation later. I just want to get, again, rough. Could even do something like this. Right. If you want to start without the kick drum and then have that come in. That works. Actually, maybe I want that to come in already. That one little tom. We'll see. How about the hi-hats? Sure. And we do like the first minute-ish. And also leaving space for things like automation, for sounds changing. This isn't like going to be the final intro. This is just roughing it out. Maybe I want to drop the kick drum out for a second. And something else comes in there. We'll bring it back in again at 49 with the fast hi-hats and the bass and see what happens. Yeah, why not? Okay, that's the intro. Now let's do the outro. I'm not even going to think about it too much. We're just going to go to the end, and I could end it like I started. Like maybe I want to end with no kick drum and just do the mirror image of that shape. Or I could do the opposite. I could end with the kick drum and take out other things. Like you can, be arbitrary. It goes really fast when you do it like that. So like if I want to end it like I started, I'm just going to get rid of the kick drum for the last few bars. And then, I don't know, what are some other things? Maybe the fast hi-hat comes out. All right. How many bars is that one? Yeah, it's an even number. probably the other hi-hat comes out halfway through this part. And if I want to end with the kick drum, I'd leave it in, but if I want to end like this, more like a listening oriented rather than mix out oriented. All right, there's the ending. See what I mean? Like now I know how my track is starting and ending. Let's find some things to happen in the middle. All right, so nowadays it's not so I don't know, it's not as much of a thing in techno to have big long breaks. Like it's more just like keep going. So let's not have some, if you were going to do a big break and a build up in the middle, you'd take out like a lot of space in the middle, but we're not going to do that. So maybe we want to do just a couple of spots where it's changing, like I already kind of did it here, right? This like little short break where the kick drum drops out in the beginning. I can just do that again. Or maybe do little ones. Let's do one here. Not too long. It's shorter than the one that came before it. And the kick drum's going to go away, and when the kick drum comes back, something else is going to go away. Let's take away the main hi-hat. Oops, wrong track. Maybe we'll take away both hi-hats. And we're going to bring a hi-hat back right here. Or maybe I should do both, I'm not sure. And while I'm doing this, I'm also thinking about what else am I going to add to this? What's missing? What parameters are going to change? When are the chords going to come in? Am I going to add vocal samples? Am I going to add crashes? Am I going to add rides? Let's do another little break. Maybe longer this time. But I'm not going to take away things this time. I'm not going to take away the hi-hats when it comes back. Yeah. Really simple. I'm going to do another sudden change at the end of this section though. I'm going to take that one kick drum out and do, I don't know. Something like that. Take the kick drum away again. Something stupid will happen here with sound effects and automation and wackiness. Either it'll be trippy or it'll be intense. We'll bring everything back again. Okay, and from here on in is mix out. And I've been forgetting to do this. I'm just gonna leave this in. I had that muted the whole time. Should have been on. I might go in and move some of these around so they make sense to happen around transitions. You know, they might not always work where they are because it's kind of arbitrarily every 12 bars. Okay. And, you know, I'm kind of thinking of how the end is going to... I thought it needs to happen sooner based on what happened before it. So I'm making an alteration to what I did before. Maybe it'll be a slightly shorter track. That's a good place for that hit, that tom. Yeah, let's make it a little shorter. I'm gonna bring the kick drum out here. Yeah, now it's gonna end there. Good. How are we doing? Does it make sense? This arrangement, fast arrangement method? It's not set in stone. I can put things back if I made mistakes, but yeah, that's it. Hey, a few new people in at the end of the hour. Ja 9000, nice to have you here. Digital J, Techno Saturday. Yes, that's right. Camel's pointing out, hey, what's up, Camel P? You can start fading out other elements. Absolutely. Audio Muscle's asking, do you always begin in the session view and then transition to the arrangement view? Most of the time. I usually start my grooves here because I want to really focus my attention and my energy on the hypnotic groove, the energy of the loop, of the driving, motivating force behind the groove before I decide how to shape it. Now, of course, you can do that here too. I mean, I can go in here and put a loop on and just build it up. I'll build my loop up in the arrangement view. It's the same idea, except if I do that, I lose my easy polymetric, having clips of different lengths thing. Like, listening to this loop. This is not a 1-bar, a 4-bar loop. This is 6/16 notes. So that is harder to do in the arrangement view. You can. It's just you have to think an extra step about how long it has to be, right? But anyway, so that's why one of the main big reasons. That, and then I like to be able to jam around with clips and switch back and forth between different variations and get an idea ahead of time in the moment. And also, this is setting yourself up to perform your track live. So I already have all the parts ready to jam out with a controller or whatever, should I so choose. But yeah, short answer, yes, I usually, almost always, for making this kind of music anyway, start in the session view. If I was doing like regular song arranging, like songwriting, probably going to be working in here most of the time in the arrangement view. Tyler Park is asking if I feel like some vocal chops might suit the song Hard Groove Like. Yeah, I mean, I have a couple little vocal samples already to add in, so yes. Already thinking about that. I just didn't put them in. I don't want to make them too loopy. I want them to I wanted to get the main loop groove thing and then figure out where do I want my spice, right? And that's also part of this arrangement method, is that you're doing the rough structure and then you go back and add, where to add things in now. You can see, oh, there's a cool transition there. I need a little sound there. I need a fill, or I need to make a variation on the loop, right? I had some variation ideas for the chord stabs and things like that, for example. Also, there's 2 versions of this thing. This just occasionally I'll drop in the transposed version of that just to make it stick out at a spot, and then whenever I want this to come in. You didn't hear it because it's soloed. I'm not even, that one's a little cheeky. It's a little silly. I might not use it. But anyway. All right, where were we? We only got a few minutes left. Let's see how much more we can get done here. Now, I was having kind of second thoughts about starting without the kick drum. So maybe this is a point where, I've got a rough structure. Now I can start thinking about more details like automation, about other sounds coming in. I'm going to start with the kick drum in there, but let's put in a high pass filter or an EQ. There you go. Start like that, and then it's easier for the DJ to mix, and it has a little bit more drive, even though the thump isn't in there yet. So, DJ trick, arrangement trick. Yeah. There you go. Not bad with where that tom comes in. And then we have this. I could start with less of that ringing of that percussion loop. I feel like it's start in there. The tone of that should be there from the beginning, because it kind of establishes the mood. But I'm not going to move it too much yet. I want to kind of take my time. I don't want to go up too fast. And if you got MIDI controller, you want to tweak this in real time, good idea, right? I'm just going to add breakpoints as I feel like it. And now once the hi-hat came in, I'm going up faster now. Except I'm going to go back down again. And then when the kick drum drops out, I'm going to go up again. We'll see what happens if I drop it down when the kick drum comes back. When the sub comes in, that's not bad. Okay. So much action just in that filter, just that one sound. I feel like something needs to happen here. Halfway through this, there's an element missing. Maybe, what was that? Cheesy. Why not? I'm gonna do it. But I'm gonna put a gratuitous delay. A quarter note delay with a lot of feedback and some filtering. But I want to put a flanger, like make it trippy. I don't know. Something like that. What if it's just eighth notes though? I'm okay with that. Probably going to end up adding some ride cymbals or some other high-end percussion in here just to lift it up a little bit. That reminds me of something I wanted to play around with sound design wise is how much can you get out of a hi-hat? So I made a loop. Whoa. Right, so it's doing a double, like 16th note thing. And if I increase the release time, it's going to start like, it's like adding delay. But it's more complex than that because there's phasing. And you could do stuff like modulating the sample, like the filter, the pitch. Stuff like that. Like you can just, who needs sound effects, right? Just put, do crazy things to the sounds you have already. I like incorporating little weird things like that in my tracks. Totally unnecessary, I guess, but. And I gotta watch the level, it could get intense. What is happening? I don't know what's happening. That's too much. You know, it's kind of like, again, it's kind of like doing weird delay tricks, but it's different. Whatever. I'm not saying I'm definitely going to do that all the time, but a little tiny bit of that at little transitions could be interesting, just to trip it out and make it stand out and not be just the same old thing, right? I love that. But maybe we'll oh, it's got still got pitch modulation on it right now. That's also cool. All right, where were we? I'm getting distracted. I also have to think about, where do those chords fit in? How do I just bring them in out of nowhere? Well, let's bring them in out of nowhere and see if that works. I'm going to bring the chords in at 81. Or maybe it's 77. And we'll see if it works. Or maybe we bring it in at 65 and with a low filter and then fade it up. Could work. Maybe. It definitely changes the vibe. We might have to start with it. Yeah, I don't know. Or we sneak it in and then we take it away. It's like a different track now. Okay, I got to be careful here. I like the drummy, vibey, spacey dubbiness of it without the chords. It's a little more direct in terms of the groove. Putting the chords in really just changed the vibe. I might have done this. I do this all the time. I'll build up a track and then I'll add an element that changes this a lot, and it's really like another track. So maybe we do, and this is an easy thing to do. This could be two versions, right? There could be one with the chords and one without, and maybe the one with the chords doesn't have as much of this in it, right? Maybe it's more just that. More about the chords. Because in a way, if you think about it, because this, even though this is a drum loop, like it still has tonal, harmonic kind of vibe, right? And it competes a little bit with this, with the, oh, not with that one, with the chords. So I got to think about it. Anyway, not a bad place to end off, right? With a cliffhanger. What's he going to do next? So that's it. Thanks everybody for hanging out today. This is coming along. I like this track. I don't know. I just need to finish some stuff, right? I've been going through old tracks and trying to organize things and decide like what to finish. And I got to make some goals, right? I think I need like a John Selway Tronic release, right? For stuff more like this, like driving clubby techno, I guess. And I have some deeper kind of dubby experimental tracks that I would maybe do on my own CSM label, which I haven't put out anything on that label in years. And it would be nice. It's kind of, like more personal stuff for me. I have a bunch of electro stuff that needs to be finished. I remember I mentioned a while back talking to Anthony Rother about making more of a structure for myself to get some stuff out this year. So yeah, let's see. These are goals: Tronic release, CSM release, an electro release on something. Either on Serotonin, but actually I wouldn't mind. Serotonin's not active. I should go for a label that's out there and doing stuff. And I know some people we could talk. So thanks everybody for hanging out again. This was fun. Look at all these people talking in the chat there. And that's it. I will see you maybe not next week. We'll see. I'm going to schedule with Thunk the Void. I'm going to schedule with whoever else I can get on here. Christian and I need to figure out when we're going to do our next masterclass, and we'll let you all know. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you next time. Adios.